Hello and welcome to another episode of Implant Pokemon. On today's episode, I will be playing with Garchmop Salamance, which is an idea that I got from NinjaDeathStrike. I'll have a link to his video below. Very entertaining and kind of a clumsy, terrible deck, but it's actually a lot of fun to play here. So I'm going to get my ideal start with an Emolga. I choose not to bench the Bagon because I don't want it to get catchered, and he's going to start with a Kyogre EX, so I'm not really sure what he's playing. So I have a strong opening hand here, be able to get my bench full of Pokemon. And let's see here, we've got a Gabite for turn 2 Dragon Call, and going first we should be able to get set up fairly efficiently here. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of Gabites on the bench, and we'll try and figure out what my opponent's actually playing here. So we see a level ball for a Piplup, and what we're looking at then is going to be Empoleon with Kyogre. I'd prefer to play the deck with something like Emolga or even Stunfisk or Terrakion, but I guess it kind of makes sense. Kyogre with his attack does 50 to 2, and then Empoleon should be able to... Empoleon should just be able to finish it off there doing 120. So he's going to open with a somewhat tough Juniper here, having to get rid of a Empoleon. Not quite sure why he didn't grab a Piplup with his Ultra Ball. Perhaps I didn't understand how the exchange went there, but whatever. He is going to get another level ball, and I'll assume he's going to go for, there we have it, a Piplup. Kind of a strange match for me. It doesn't really matter what I bench or how many I bench, because he's stuck two-shotting me no matter what. And I kind of need to have Garchomps waiting, so I can't play a game where I'm going to go ahead and Sharon. We'll be able to Dragon Call, and at least get 3 stage 1s into play here, using Dragon Call for another Gabite and then for a Shelgon here. But the math won't work out to where I can deny him a prize, deny him a 2-hit KO on my Garchomp. So going into this, I'm not too concerned about benching too many things. If you were playing something with EXs, then you'd want to manage your bench to prevent the 2-hit KO, but I can't. Now I think here that I have a lightning attached to my Emolga, and I'm like, oh, I can hit him for 40 with weakness, but I didn't realize I had a fighting energy on there. And at this point, I'm not sure what to do. I decided to not grab anything, again worried about bench management here, but as we can see, there's already 7 Pokemon in the play. 7 times 2 is 140, and that knocks out a Garchomp. So my opponent gets rid of my hand here, which I had the 3 stage 2s in hand, but it doesn't really matter because I have that Dragon Call. I'll still be able to get set up. Now he plays an Enhanced Hammer here to get rid of my Blend, which will set me back an energy turn. It would have been nice to be able to just go ahead and hit his active Kyogre and use the Hooligans, but now I'm out of an energy, or even 2-shot his Kyogre with 2 Mach Cuts in a row. Mach Cut? I don't think it's Mach Cut. Dragon Blade, that's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and use Dragon Call and get a Salamance. Go ahead and play that. Now my opponent only has 3 cards, but I do have an end in hand, and that's kind of what I'm thinking here. If I had an energy, I would have just went for the Hooligans and got his hand down to 0, but don't really have that option set up for me. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Garchomp, and you can see my mouse going to that Hooligans thinking, what should I do, what should I do? Got a couple of level balls here, probably should just go ahead and grab a Gibble and just get that ready to go, and we'll see what I do here. And I do go ahead and grab a Gibble, which should be the correct play here. Now, the whole point of this deck is to use Scornful Storm. Salamance's ability forces my opponent to discard until he has 4 in his hand, and thanks to that end, I will be able to force him to discard 2 cards, as well as hit his Kyogre for 60. So a fairly productive turn 3 here. And Let's take a look, and I do go ahead and mock cut 460. Doesn't help as far as math goes in any way, but he benches a second Kyogre, which I don't quite agree with. He's not going to be able to power up 2. Like, he'll be able to power up 1 and then just go ahead and hit me with Empoleon. But as far as this goes, it doesn't really make any sense. He should just be going for the Empoleons. Alright. So he does get the second energy. He'll be able to hit my Garchomp for 30, which will be helpful for him. And we'll see if he actually switches something or if he just decides to leave Kyogre active. Part of that attack with Kyogre is he can actually retreat that thing, but we see here he decides not to, so I'm noticing here he's got the 3 Prinplups. I can Dragon Call here. Let's see. Should just thin the deck of those level balls, get another Gabite out, use my Dragon Calls, and continue getting set up here. Such an amazing ability, Dragon Call. Especially in a deck like this. Without that ability, you... Salamance is tough to get out as is, but that just adds such an extra layer of consistency. So I must have missed it here. I did get a Blend Energy, which is excellent. I'm debating here. I've not played this deck too much. I should probably just take out the Prinplups. It's a one-hit KO. I'm not going to be able to one-hit KO his Empoleons. But I'm also in an awkward spot where I kind of want to hit his active Kyogre, because if he starts spreading, I'm going to need to take that thing out before he gets 2 of those attacks off. So preserving the catcher is the right play. Save that for another time and just hit the active for 100. I'm going to end him here again so that I can use Scornful Storm and discard a couple more of his cards here. So what we're seeing here is I'm pretty much being able to use this every turn, being able to discard cards from his hand. This is actually a decent matchup against Empoleon because he has to discard cards to use Diving Draw. So pretty much every turn he's discarding more cards than I am, which is kind of neat. It's kind of a neat exchange the way these two decks kind of face each other. So this is the exact reason why I hit his Kyogre for 100 last turn, because I don't want him to be able to use whatever that attack is where he does 50-50. I can't afford him to be able to use that attack twice, or I have a real shot at losing here. So he finally gets an Empoleon out here. We see a Diving Draw. Looks like he's getting rid of an Emolga, and he should be able to just kind of get the rest of his Empoleons all set up. And I can't one-hit KO those things. So he hits my active Garchomp and my bench Salamance, doing 50 apiece. I now have 3 Garchomps in play, and it doesn't actually appear I've used any rare candies. They've all had to be evolved through. I notice here that my Salamance has a chance of going out, so I decide not to lay the Garchomp and instead Dragon Call for what should be another Bagon. That way I can keep Scornful storming every turn here. So I have the rare candy in hand, so I'll be able to use Dragon Call and get a Salamance out on my next turn, and then evolve into Garchomp and continue on my way. Now I decide not to play the blend, or I shouldn't play the blend, because he played 1 Enhanced Hammer, so he may play another, and I don't want that removed from my benched Garchomp there, so letting the fighting is the safer play. And now I am in a perfect spot to go ahead and knock out his Kyogre. He only has, I don't know, less than 60 hit points left. That's really all that matters. Looking through his discard, just seeing how many catchers and switches. That's really all I'm looking for there. And I'll go ahead and take the prize lead with a fairly set up field here. 2 Garchomps, a Salamance, a Dragon Call, Gabite, so we're in really good shape. Unless he ends me. Perhaps that's what I was counting. How many more ends he has left to kind of disrupt my hand. So at this point I'm starting to realize that it's going to be really hard to take 4 more prizes because those Empoleons have 140 HP. And I'm starting to become aware that I have a chance to deck him out. He diving draws again, and we can kind of see his deck's getting low there, but he'll be able to hit me for 100. And that's where I was saying the math doesn't matter. If I only had 2 Pokemon in play, 1, 2. Man, I'd have to have 2 Pokemon in play to not have my Garchomps get knocked out in 2 hits, so it really doesn't matter. Thankfully, he doesn't end me, and I am able to go ahead and Scornful Storm, forcing him to discard a whopping 4 cards. And I have an N and a second Salamance, so I'll actually be able to make him discard another one, so making him discard a total of 5 cards on this turn. So we attach the blend to the benched Garchomp, and nothing else to play here. Again, I'm kind of saving those catchers to probably take out his Kyogre at the end for 2 turns. Oh, okay, I'm going to use it now and hope that he whiffs on a switch, and that's kind of my path to victory. So I end myself down to 4, him to 5. Go ahead and use Scornful Storm again to make him discard a card. So that's pretty awesome to be able to use that ability twice and kind of force him to discard 5 cards. So again, I'm looking for switches. We see 1 there. Looks like he's played 3 ends as well. Check my own discard. Kind of have an awkward choice. Do I want to Super Rod now and risk not drawing into a supporter, or I don't think it matters. That really doesn't matter when I do that. I'm all set up, so go ahead and use Dragon Blade for 100, and if he whiffs a switch, this should be pretty much over. I don't see a path for him to take 5 prizes before I take my remaining prizes. But he gets a Charon, and I wait in suspense. Does he have the switch? So now he's got 2 Empoleons in play. And there's the switch. So now I'm staring down another Empoleon instead of a damaged Kyogre. He uses his second diving draw and goes ahead and hits me for 100. Not sure what he was going for with that. So I'm going to use Scornful Storm, force him to discard another card. And I wish I kind of kept track here, because this is actually a fairly productive, the most productive game I've had with this deck. I've been able to use that a lot, and it's definitely got to be hurting him to have to discard, 5 cards one turn, 2 cards another turn, 1 card. I mean, that's a 1/6 of his deck or more that I've been able to just force him to not even be able to use, and disrupt what's usually a fairly consistent deck, if not the best deck in the format by any means, but it is a consistent deck. So I'm going to go ahead and Juniper here. It doesn't appear he plays catcher. I don't know if I should have wasted that switch, but I'm kind of eyeing up the way the math works here, and I am going to need another Garchomp to finish this game off. Hit his Empoleon for 100. Yeah, and I will definitely need another Garchomp to finish this match up with, so he's going to go ahead and end me down to 4. Again, as you can see, my deck's filled with plenty of supporters here. So I have been... Yeah, the deck's actually working quite well. Alright, so he attaches an energy to the bench, so he's going to have another attacker ready as well. I promote the Amoga just to stay in that habit of promoting the free retreater. And get pretty lucky here. Looks like I top decked the rare candy. And I have a fighting in hand. I could end and go for a blend. Probably should just lay the fire, or the fighting. So I'll be able to use Scornful Storm here, make him discard yet again, and we can see his deck is getting very, very small. Just 4 cards left. So I will retreat, just hit him for 60, and we're getting down to the end here. Garchomp's doing his thing, Salamance is doing his thing, Gabite's doing his thing, and this match is going pretty well. Less well for my opponent. he was able to use Kyogre and he's keeping up a steady stream of Empoleons. So at this point, he hits me for 90. At this point, I know that I might not be able to take all my prizes, but my best bet is actually probably to deck him out. I don't see a way for him to take 4 prizes with just 3 cards left in his deck. But we'll keep him honest here. Not sure what I'm searching for with this N. Possibly a blend. Just thin the deck. Now I also have to be careful myself because with Dragon Blade, I discard 2 off the top of my deck. So using that Juniper may not really be possible. But we get lucky here. I actually think that he did not attack me last turn. I think he's just conceding to the fact that he's lost. He cannot win the game. He will deck out. And we saw he did not use diving or command attack on that last turn against me to knock out my Garchomp. Not that it would have mattered, but at this point we can see he's pretty much just conceded the game. And he's got just 1 card left. No chance for him to win. Scornful Storm here, disrupting him to the point where he's not able to take his prizes. He goes ahead and retreats his Piplup just to give me the game here. I briefly think I want to deck him out so bad, but I do the respectful thing, the honorable thing, and just go ahead and take my final 2 prizes on his Kyogre. And that's Garchomp Salamance. A very fun online deck, not a very good deck, but I hope you enjoyed this video.